How was the final today? What was your final? What final did you take today?
I didn't take a final. I have a architecture test tomorrow.
Look, wait a minute. You're an architect. So hold on. So what does that mean? Building? What do you build? Build model airplanes or what? What is
Well,
it?
no, I'm taking a business minor. So that's a part of the class. And I'm also taking accounting, which is brutal.
Why? Which one went this way? I'm trying to get the right. I got a lot of big glow back here. When you lose your hair like me, Luke, if it ever happens to you, I don't have enough powder. Where's the powder, ladies? That powders my head. I need a wig. Strike. I need a frick. Yeah. I could strike. Go with my green hat. I just doesn't.
You should start. You should start wearing a wig whenever you're on here.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I can do that. I got enough confidence in myself to wear that wig. Hey, I was looking at your major. What is human dimensions of organizations?
So it's kind of like communications. But in a business, on the business side, it's like working with people in a business environment, if that makes sense.
Well, no, it doesn't, Luke. Okay, I'm a baseball coach. Okay, I don't know much about it, and so I know this isn't an interview, but let's just say, so you're a left-handed pitcher. You throw about what 92, 94? Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, and let's just say that 92. Let's just say you don't throw it anymore. All right, now you got to go in for a regular interview. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? An interview.
Yes.
And so, Luke, what kind of interview? Where would you be looking for if baseball wasn't there for you? Where would you be looking for a job?
Well, in how I see it is my father flips homes and owns his own business. So I feel like that would help me communicate with his partners and who he's working with better. Blah, blah. I like that industry. I like kind of getting the chance to create your own homes and stuff and putting your own ideas in houses.
Yeah.
And obviously you have to work with a ton of people in that. So that's kind of where I see it.
Well, so we're with Lucas Gordon. Luke, you're on my podcast now. And I want you to know, I really appreciate you coming on. And I had a chance. We're in podcast. I think I'm with Rob and Brian. We're podcast what?
29.
This is my 29th podcast, Luke. How about that, man?
29? I didn't even know you were on a podcast.
You didn't know, Luke? Seriously, Lucas, you had no idea?
No idea.
Kind of bums me out a little bit because, I thought you followed me. I was going to make that up. But yeah. And it's going really well. It's going okay. Yeah.
I heard it's doing well. I'm glad.
Well, you know what? I get guys. I get baseball players. I get professional baseball players. I get college baseball players. I get high school guys. I've had I get coaches and stuff and then, what we're trying to do is we're trying to allow people to understand that it's not all about baseball out there. And you're a great example of this. I'm looking at your room. I got Lucas right now. Where are you at right now, Lucas? Where are you at right now?
I'm in my room in Austin, Texas. My condo.
Where is it? Are you in a house, in a dorm room? What's up?
It's a condo. My roommate's parents bought it.
That's got to be so illegal. You know what? No wonder UT. Last time I saw you, besides last week in the dugout. Thanks for coming out, by the way. The Notre Dame boys. You come in that dugout, and those freshmen and sophomore, a couple of those guys said, "Is that Lucas Gordon? Is that Lucas Gordon?" And I said,
"Yeah, I was there for 2 hours. I just didn't think I could go into the dugout."
Are you kidding me, Luke?
I was there since the second inning.
I know. You come up to the side there and you say, "Coach," I'm like, what are you doing out there? I would have. Yeah, I think you've got the right now to come to the dugout. Don't even have to knock. Just come on in. Okay, man. Just come on in. It's okay. But last time I saw you over that was where? Last time I saw you was out in
Omaha.
Yeah.
Before that, yes.
It was Omaha. I appreciate you providing the tickets for us. We brought our team out there. Mm-hmm. Tell me about Omaha. That was your first experience there as a player?
Second time going to Omaha, first time actually being on the field and experience the whole hoorah of actually going to Omaha.
Was it is it all what you thought it was going to be?
It's even better. I mean, the atmosphere is crazy. Obviously it's the highest level of college baseball you could be at. There's 8 teams. We were lucky enough to make it to the Final Four. Just lost to Mississippi State. If we won the game, we would have made it to the championship, but I had a blast. It was just watching us compete at that level against those players. I mean, a lot of them got drafted super high. It was just a great time. It was unbelievable. Like I couldn't have imagined what that was like
Yeah.
before I would have got there.
Now, when you went there, though, you had been recruited. So, a little background. By the way, I have two pitchers in this office here. So I wanted to make sure Rob and Brian are both pitchers that played college wise, a little professionally. So anything that comes out of your mouth, we can call you out on it. Okay. Just so you know. But when you were in those teams you played, how many of those teams did you get recruited by in Omaha that you played against in the Final Eight?
Everyone except Stanford.
Is that something?
Yes.
So you had Mississippi State, you had North Carolina State, you had Texas. Who else you have in that thing, man?
Arizona, I went on an official visit to U of A.
Right.
NC State, I didn't go there, but I went to UNC for my official visit. Tennessee, who else was there? Vandy, obviously.
Right.
Vandy was
so
there.
When you go back there, did you see those coaches that recruited you and you said no to them? Did they, did you give them did you flip them off? Did you say, hey, I found a better place? I don't know. How does it go? Talk to me.
No, I mean, I wouldn't flip them off. They recruited me.
I know. Did they flip you off because you didn't go to their place? Did they?
No, the only coach I saw was Coach Corbin from Vandy.
Right.
And he was awesome. He was really cool. He came up to me, said, "What's up?" They were actually leaving a hotel to go to team dinner. And he came up to me, said, "What's up?" He was really cool.
Hey, so walk me through that game against Mississippi State. It gets rained. Remember that game at Mississippi? I was there. But, and by the way, we lost the next day. My batters group, we have a big game at 8 a.m. We qualify for the gold bracket. Your flipping game, we couldn't leave because was it 2 hour rain delay?
I think we felt like it was 9 hours. I think it was 2 hours.
Yeah. Now you're warming up in the 9th, I believe. When you're warming up in the 12th, I don't know what it was, and
yes,
ready to go.
Yes.
Yeah. And what happens? How do they not bring you in? They kept the guy they already had out there.
Are you talking about the final game?
I am talking about the final game. No. I'm talking about the walk-off you guys hit. I'm talking about the home run you guys hit.
Okay. So who was it? Nixon. So previously, the whole season, I was having a great season. And this last year actually taught me a lot just about the mental aspect, just because usually my whole life, that's always been my biggest thing about me was I've always had a great mental game, and people don't understand how important that is to have until you kind of get to the higher levels.
Yeah.
But the past couple of weeks before Omaha, some about my mechanics plus outcomes equaled my mental game to be super off, and I just had zero confidence. So that didn't help with getting brought in. I personally thought, and for me to say this, it's a big deal. I personally thought I wasn't the right guy for that situation either, just because of the state I was in. But then I learned a lot from it.
No, man, I don't mean to cut you off. I it's so good to see you. I swear to God, I love you like a son. I love your father. To hear you talk so honestly about your mechanics, not and the outcomes, not combining, because the one area that I think you are a biggest asset was your mental toughness, your mental approach, your mental, and how do you know how important is that the mental side of pitching on the mound in college baseball?
Well, like I said, it was the first time I really had to deal with struggling in that aspect, and getting over it was super tough. And I really didn't know how to deal with it. So
what was the struggle, Lucas? I don't mean to interrupt you. Give me some details. Like, how did you know at one point going, red flag here?
Well, we have a saying when you're pitching, know when you're at a green light, yellow light, and red light, and know how to breathe and work off that. And I was constantly at a red light. My mind was going all over the place. Wow. I was thinking about my mechanics when I was pitching, which is never good. I didn't trust any of my pitches. And so it was a mess.
Hey, I'm not a pitcher. How is it though on the mound? I'm a second baseman. I'm behind you guys. I would hate to have my guy in the mound though, throwing a pitch that doesn't have confidence in. You know,
Exactly.
I, I got to tell you, that's got to be so when that pitch is, when fastball, not just the fastball, but you got to locate the fastball a little bit,
Yes,
and if you
especially
don't
at
have,
the level. Yeah.
so you could have confidence in your velocity, but not confidence in your location. Would that make sense?
Yes. But last year I was 88, 90. So I didn't even think I could blow a fastball by anyone. So it wasn't even like that.
Yeah. Let me ask you, when you're in the bullpen now coming in, so back to that game, that guy's throwing, they got that right-hander, another freshman on the mound, right? In the game, and he's throwing whatever he's throwing, 90 plus. I can see the numbers on the board. You're in the bullpen. When do you know if you're going in? What's that pitching coach? What's the communication between you and your pitching coach, the guy with the clipboard right now that I want to make fun of? Because I'm thinking, okay, I don't know what you need a guy down there, and what's he documenting or what's he putting on his clipboard with you're doing all the work, but what's his job out there? The bullpen coach, what's his job?
The one in the bullpen?
Yeah, the one that's
just,
looking at you and who's making no decisions, but he just is kind of evaluating you. Does he have any decision at all about putting you in the game?
No, he answers the phone. He tells people what to do. He doesn't do anything. He's actually our strength coach.
Okay. And you know what? I don't know if he's going to listen to this. I'm sure he's a great guy, but so he just answers the phone and they say, hey, get Gordon up, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, when will you know?
Idea.
Say it again.
So we have no idea what's going on in the dugout.
You don't. Yeah. You're down there. I saw you get up once. I saw you throw. Then I saw you kind of getting a little hot. I know a little bit about the game. The problem is I'm watching you from behind the third base dugout, and you're in the right field bullpen. You know what I mean? You're up there in that bullpen. So I could see you getting up, and I got all my boys. Hey, Lucas Gordon's coming in. And they're all like, Coach, do you know him? I go, do I know him? I coached him. And no one believed me because you didn't get in the game. I was pissed. I was really pissed. But when you were up there throwing, it looked like you were just about ready to come in, and then the rain came. Is that right?
Yes, I was definitely the next guy up if they needed me. But I was ready, even with the state I was in. I told myself, whatever happens, I need to go in and compete.
So there's no options when you're up there getting ready. Am I right? I know there. No. I've heard. Who did I hear? Pitt. We did something on so like you don't go out on the mound. A pitcher doesn't go on the mound always having his best stuff. I asked these young pitchers today, and I want to kind of veer to that. I'm glad we started off like this. When you're out there on the mound, a young kid will say, Coach, I go warm up. When you're warming up, what's that? What are you warming up? You're the mental side, the physical side, but you don't always go to the mound at 100%. Would you agree?
Yes, of course, especially being at the bullpen.
And then when you don't have it, Lucas, what do you do to get there or to get close to that?
Well, that just comes with the mental game. I always have a talk with I talked to Nick Lodolo. You know who he is, right?
Yeah.
So I talked to Nick about it. We said the best pitchers know how to pitch with their B and C games, if that makes sense, because even the great pitchers have their A stuff once every 5 outings. And most of the times they're pitching with their B and C game. They just have better B and C stuff. So I think that's a huge part of being able to be a good or great pitcher is learning how to throw with 2 pitches or 3 pitches opposed to your 4 and 5 pitches.
Right on. Talk to me now. Did you, when you were younger, you played where, Lucas? Where'd you play as a little boy? Your youth.
I played at Santa Monica Pony.
Okay.
Santa Monica. Yeah.
And how was that experience? Who was your coach there?
I'm pretty sure it's my dad. This is my coach. Yeah. It was funny. I mean, I remember we played in a big tournament and he was supposed to be the first base coach and he had his headphones in listening to Masters on his phone.
Did you know then, was baseball your only sport as a young child? Or did you, I say young child, you're still a pup, man, in my eyes, but as a 12, 10, 9, 10, 11, did you play more than one sport back then?
I played football, basketball, and I was super into skating.
Skating?
Yes.
Well, and when did you start to maneuver yourself only into baseball, or when did that road start to narrow?
Well, I wasn't very good at basketball, so I knew that I would have no chance in that. Football, I was decent. Skating, I was actually pretty good too, but once I started getting calls from colleges, because remember I committed to USC when I was a freshman, going into my freshman year.
That's right.
Yes, it was in like December of freshman year. So that's when I knew I had to stop all. Oh, that's when I told myself I was going to stop everything and mainly focus on baseball.
That's right. How happy? That's a good topic, man. How happy was SC when you decommitted? If that's the right term, is that? What did they say? How was that conversation?
It was brutal. I don't think I could go into it that much.
Well, come on. We got over 1 million listeners out there. They need to know. They need these young kids out there when they decommit like you did USC, not to be too blunt, but when they talk to me, man, how did that call come? Like, how did you have to make that decision?
Well, I mainly wanted to go somewhere just because I knew I was getting better, and I was that was when all the USA stuff was happening. That was when the 18U team happened. So I knew I loved playing at a high level, and I wanted to keep playing at a high level. And USC is great, but I wanted to give myself a chance to play in Omaha like we did. So we made that decision of going somewhere else. And fortunately enough, it happened to be Texas.
Right. So when you asked them, they said, "Oh, thanks for calling, Lucas. We appreciate the call. Thank you very much. And we understand." Is that how easy it was?
Well, so they had a new coach.
That's
when they made the coaching switch. And his name Coach Gill, I think. And
Jason. Yeah.
He didn't call us. I'm talking about Jared Jones and I, because we were talking about it. He also decommitted from USC Texas.
Where did Jones go? Where did he end up going?
He went early second round to the Pirates.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. That's right. He threw 100 miles an hour, right? He was over to where did he go to high school?
He threw 100, and when we faced him, he threw me a 3-1 changeup. I texted him, I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Hey,
come on.
Hey, we were talking about you the other day, the MiraCosta game. One thing, Lucas, your senior year, we were ranked #1 in the nation as a high school baseball team. And in that COVID year really was a tragedy, not just to not get a chance to have you guys get the tragedy I always talk about is that you didn't get a chance to play. You didn't get a chance to go out there and show everybody your skill set and show everybody. For 4 years, you guys were freshmen, sophomore, junior. Now it's your senior year, and COVID hit, and I still think it's a tragedy. It's too bad that what would have happened that never did. Those things you look back and go, dang it. You get to reward yourself by going to Omaha, but a lot of players, it's been a rough go since that time.
Of course.
And now you're talking about like a Jared Jones, but the greatest experience we had was your junior year then when we go to MiraCosta, if you remember that, and you hit a ball. If you were lifting that year, it would have went out, but you obviously took a couple of reps off. And remember that ball you hit? We were just talking about last night.
Yep, and that's when I knew that I should stop hitting and become a pitcher only, because I thought I got all of that too. I even did like the bat flip,
I saw
home run trot.
Yeah.
And then he didn't. I think he didn't even catch it at the warning track. It was on the grass. So.
It's a deep yard though, man. It was a deep yard.
But still, come on.
Yeah. Tell me now, anything from you pitchers over here? Rob wants to jump in. He's got a couple of. Now he played at George Washington University, Lucas.
The hitting coach was our USA hitting coach.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
But George Washington and always thought that the University of Texas was just second tier to them. Okay. If you want a piece of George Washington, you're going to have some of that right here. But
Lucas, Roger Clemens. I go back to Roger Clemens days at Texas, so I respect Texas.
Yeah.
Quick question for you: a typical day for Lucas at University of Texas, in season and then out of season. What are you doing every single day? Are you all about baseball, or what's going on?
Well, Texas is not easy for school, so I wake up, wake up, eat breakfast, do school until probably about 2. And then we do practice. We have practice from probably 3 to 7 or 3 to 6, incorporating lifts in between. We'll do inter squads and fall ball. So our fall ball, there's a lot. We're at the field for about 6-7 hours a day, including school. So that takes up a lot of our days. And then during season's different just because we never know when we're going to pitch, especially me last year, coming out of the bullpen. But I basically work my routine off of when I pitch and workouts and, different stuff during the season. The season's different. It's harder to build a routine during season, being a bullpen pitcher.
And how much is that left to you during the season to keep conditioned, to keep running, to keep lifting? Are the coaches on your quote unquote ass all the time, or is it up to you? Because I know the schedule's hectic. It really is.
Yeah, they're actually not. They don't. If I didn't want to work out at all, I don't have to. But a big part of my game is staying strong and
good for you.
Working out. So that's a big priority for me. I probably lift 3-4 times a week during season, even if I'm feeling a little tired or sore. I think that's a big part of my game and staying healthy.
God, I wish part of that though is getting respect from your teammates. Like you can't go out there. One thing I try to get across to young athletes today, college, high school, young kids, they always want to impress the coach.
Mhm.
They always want to impress the coach somehow. I show up and you can tell the players out there, young kids, hey coach, how are you? Or hey, even in high school, they just seem to show up. I come out of the clubhouse and there they are. I come out, they want to be noticed. Where you're going to, I assume, get all your innings and you're going to be a starter this year, which is amazing, which is, which makes sense. I'm not shocked at all. It's because of the results you have on the mound though, correct?
Yes, but are you talking about respect or results? Sorry.
Well, go ahead. You tell me, man. What am I talking about? What's the difference? Go ahead.
Well, from respect doesn't really come from results, from your teammates and your coaches. Respect comes with the work you put on before the season and getting better. And if your teammates see you work, then they'll have respect for you no matter what happens during the season.
Yeah. And but how important is that on a team, man? I mean, we could sit here and talk all day long. Nothing gets me more triggered than to watch players and watch a guy in there that you just know he's not working his ass off. He works his mouth off a lot. But go in there and work your flipping ass off and show me in there and show me as I walk by. Show me as I'm looking at the cages and I'm looking down at the bullpen. And I'm looking as I'm watching the guy hit, around the turtle, but my eyes flare out to the outfielder taking live balls off the bat in right field. That's the kind of stuff that's that, again, intrinsic motivation that I think you got. Would you agree?
Of course. I think it's also just growing up with super talented players and, learning the work ethic at a young age. And I try to pass it on. And fortunately enough, here at Texas, we kind of created a environment of just what hard work really is and how to work together as a team and get better and push each other.
What's the difference between high school and college? The challenge
is it's more independent. I mean, it's more on yourself. Like no one tells you what to do or how to get better. It's you and your teammates. I mean, that's where you learn most of your stuff. Even we have Tulowitzki as our coach, as our hitting and infield coach, and we still learn most of the stuff from our teammates just because we're with them so much.
Hey, do you guys do bunt defenses, picks, first and thirds, all that stuff we did do at Notre Dame at all?
More than anything else.
That's it. Yeah.
More than anything else.
Gosh.
Yes.
Why is it then? Do you hit off a machine? Those guys hit off machines too?
Sometimes. In the cages they do.
Yeah. And then live. Because I remember when you guys did Notre Dame, everyone got so bitter at me. Coach, you're not doing first and thirds again. Do you remember that? Do you know Reyes and those guys? They would shoot. You could just see the looks in their faces. Not again, first and thirds. Not again, bunt defense. I went over it every day and had made no friends. And you guys going to college, and you're telling me right now that's all you guys do.
I'm sure that's what they're doing at UCLA too.
Yeah. Or when Texas. I mean, and why is that? Do you think you guys work on that all the time?
I think it's just such an important aspect to know. Just the little things, like our coach always says, the little things in the game are the little mistakes that other players make are what cost them the game.
Yeah.
So we try to limit the little mistakes, and that's how we're so successful last year.
Well, yeah, and it's about relationships. I mean, on the field, you need to, as a guy on the mound, you have the pitcher and catcher must have a relationship.
Of course.
Also, pitcher and middle infielders with guys on base must have a relationship. Pitcher and first baseman with a guy leading off, you got a relationship. A guy at second base, a ball hitting the gap or ball at center field, you know where you're going. You're going behind third, or you're going behind home. You're constantly. So what these first and thirds and bunt defenses and picks are doing, yeah, it's to minimize those mistakes, but it's also so guys can get to know each other. I think when you're playing catch out there, I want to know that Lucas Gordon, when he's picking to first base, I want to know Lucas Gordon isn't throwing the ball 92 miles an hour to first base. I want to know if there's any arm side run. You want to know ground ball. How many 3-1 first base ground balls at first and pitcher covering did you guys have to do in the fall?
We do it every day.
Every day. So you know one of your first basemen what one ball does compared to the other first baseman who may be left-handed, or your third first baseman who can't play defense a lick but can only hit. I mean, you know all that stuff going into a ball game. Would you agree?
Of course.
Yeah, and you don't
1,000 times.
1,000 times. Now, let me ask you, do you ever, and that's part of the relationship that kids have. And God, this podcast, Luke, I could talk to you all stinking day. But when we're out there, it's not just about taking ground balls, fungoing ground balls, or you guys just throwing bullpens.
Mhm.
It's about you. When you throw your bullpens, are you throwing with multiple catchers?
Yes.
Not just one starting catcher. There's multiple
No.
guys, right?
There's multiple guys. Yeah.
And do you have a favorite catcher, Luke?
Of course I do.
Okay. You want to name him right now?
Silas Ardoin.
What's his name?
Silas Ardoin. He's
Now
from
what?
Louisiana. And
Where's he
he's-
from?
Louisiana. He's actually probably like a top 3 catcher in the draft this year.
Okay. Now, why is he your favorite catcher?
Well, one, like you said, he's my really good friend outside of the field. And two, I know how much he works, and he's shown me all the stuff he does, and he cares because he really works with the pitchers and makes sure that we're on the same track at all times.
So when you're on the bump and you're throwing to him, he cares about you.
100%.
Yeah. And how much more confidence does that give you to throw to this guy no matter what then?
It just makes me only want to throw to him. Just 'cause
Yeah.
I know that we have that connection.
How do you teach that, Luke, to young pitchers today to pitch out there? How do you teach it to young players today? I mean, what you're asking right now, say, go out there and trust your teammates. How do you gain that, man?
I mean, just throughout practices and everyday life. I mean, it's not just one instance where I really remember that I just trusted him. It's just watching him work with the other pitchers, watching him work with me, and comparing it to the other catchers. It makes a huge difference and really earns that trust and relationship.
And you'll be talking to these guys for 30 plus years.
Yes.
You'll be friends with them forever.
Uh-huh.
First, I had 4 roommates, 3 pitchers and a catcher.
Mhm.
First people I talked to during COVID time when everybody was getting bored were with my roommates, 3
Yeah.
pitchers and catcher, because those are the ones I knew I could pick right up from the last day I saw them and talked to them. They were the best
Yes.
relationships. We were with them every day for 4 years. So that's great.
Of course.
It's great that still happens and those
Uh-huh.
relationships last forever.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. I don't talk to pitchers because you guys frustrate the hell out of me. All right. Just get guys out.
Uh-huh.
I don't understand. As a coach, I remember coaching going to the mound, and I would go to the mound, and players did not want me to go to the mound because I didn't know anything about pitching. I just knew just get the guy out, and I'd go
Mhm.
out there and say, "What?" And the guy would say, "Yeah, I left that pitch up." I said, "Why'd you do that?" And then finally, the guy said, "Coach, you think I meant to do that? Did I mean that? No." When you're pitching, Luke, what's your out pitch? Let's talk a little fundamentals on pitching right now. What do you recommend? What's your pitch? What are your 3 pitches you throw?
Well, I throw a fastball, 4-seam fastball. I got rid of the 2-seam.
Why? Now,
just
what's a
because-
4-seam fastball for those that are new out there? And why'd you get rid of the 2-seam?
Well, fortunately enough, my four seam has really good run, people in the room probably know that baseball is super analytical, especially these days. So the numbers on my four seam are really good opposed to my two seam, and they play, especially at a higher level. And it works very well off my changeup. So that's I changed it after my senior year of high school.
So your numbers on your four seam, when you say your number, you're talking about velocity?
Just spin rate, spin rate.
Spin rate.
I have a high spin rate, and then your vertical break. Like, you know what that is? It's kind of hard to explain.
No.
You know what, Lucas? I feel like you're talking about my ex-girlfriend. All right, her spin rate and her vertical break. That's. But keep going, man.
I mean, yes, I didn't get into this until a couple years ago, but I kind of have to, just because that's where baseball's going. Like,
well, I'm not making fun of you, Doug. I'm listening.
No,
I
know.
I appreciate you. Yeah, go ahead.
But I mean, I remember talking to Cleveland my senior year, the Cleveland Indians.
Uh-huh.
And all they're asking me, and all these teams were just asking about my spin rates and my vertical breaks and horizontal breaks. And I've never heard of it. It was completely new to me. So I knew I had to learn all about it.
And your two seam fastball didn't give you the same.
No, it ran too much. And then
is that a bad
thing? I didn't
thing?
think so come out of high school, but
is that a bad thing though? I mean, if a guy's arm if there's too much run on a left-hander, so that ball's running away from right-hander, too much run. That's something I'm sure you can fix if you had to.
Well, you don't see too many two seams anymore. It's the balls that run are a lot of sinkers now.
I see.
Opposed to two seams.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. God, this is the whole never. You know, when I got on this podcast today, I thought, what am I going to talk to Lucas about? I just saw you last week. I talked to you a lot on the phone, and you're so freaking humble, man. The see that changeup though, that changeup. Can kids work on a changeup? Can high school kids or young kids work on a changeup? Is that something you had to absolutely work on to get what you wanted?
100%. I mean, the beauty of a changeup is you throw it like a fastball. So it's for me, it was easy to learn. But you could throw a fastball changeup and make it to a D1 level easily. If your fastball and changeup work well, your changeup's good, and they play off of each other, you're going to make it super high. The changeup's the best pitch in baseball.
The changeup is.
Yes.
What about slider? Why not go slider, Lucas? I could teach you the slider. I threw a mean slider when I was a 12U kid. I threw a mean one.
I had a slider. I have a slider. Yes.
Stromsburg said he can hit your slider about 9 miles, just so you know. All right.
Stromsburg was the worst hitter in the Notre Dame program, in the history of the Notre Dame program.
Now, tell me, have you faced UCLA? Have you faced any of your former players from Notre Dame?
No, we actually play them this coming year.
Where you at? Where at?
It's a tournament, not a tournament, but games at Minute Maid Park in Houston.
Oh, who's going to be there?
We're on the different sides, but we play LSU our first game, then Tennessee, who we actually knocked out of Omaha last year.
Right.
And then UCLA on Sunday.
Oh, how cool.
Yes.
And Reyes is still there. I heard Tommy Barris, a former Notre Dame guy, they got him catching over there right now at UCLA.
I mean, I never thought he was that bad.
I
always thought he was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, he just couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. But I tell you what, I like Tommy.
But he could do everything pretty good. That's the thing. Like, especially catching, he had a great arm. He would block. He would work his ass off.
Yeah,
I love that kid. He's great.
Let me ask. Okay, we're almost done with this thing, man. And I don't know how this is gonna go. If it doesn't go, I'm gonna call you tomorrow. We'll do another one. But you're awfully good. Talk to me. What would you do if you're gonna tell a young kid today? You said it one time on our Zoom about don't worry about velocity, don't worry about the gun, don't worry about playing to the gun when you did all this perfect game stuff. Any advice you'd give to a young high school kid or even a before high school kid that you today who wants to play baseball, pitch like you?
I think the main thing is just having fun and actually learning how to enjoy the game. I mean, if you don't have fun, then what's the point of playing it? So, I mean, in my case, I had so much fun with baseball, and it only caused me to want to get better. So, I mean, that's the base of any sport, is just having fun.
I remember you shagging fly balls in the outfield. We make you tell you to go sit down because I remember balls. This is your senior year, or your junior year. You're going to go sign, and there's a ball hit, and you laid out
I
to
remember
catch
that.
it. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm out there with you, and I meant, come here, Gordon. Are you kidding me? I was going to be I could just see a pulse. I mean, you can just lay out a little bit, you guys. He absolutely went all out. He had to run about 15 feet and lay out. I think, and most guys let it drop. Now, did you make the catch?
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. You can't say it wasn't one of the sickest things you ever seen. I was impressed with myself.
It was very sick. Dill, the coach called, he goes, Denny, are you guys having why would you let him play in that contest? I go, man, he's on his own, coach. He went way on his own out there.
Well, Diego and I were having a diving competition during VP.
You're having a diving contest. You got Texas, Vanderbilt, Tennessee on the line wondering, hey, what happened to Lucas Gordon? Well, they're having a diving contest. Was there a coach watching them? Yeah, Coach Barrett was out there watching him, and he really liked the catch too, though. It was a great catch.
I looked up. I remember catching the ball, looking up at Diego and going, holy shit, that was so sick.
It's funny we're remembering that. It was a random practice on a Tuesday or a Monday or something like that. And we had, as you came out, and I think I'm going to finish here closely, but a guy like Lucas Gordon, if you were listening to this, he just came out to play. And you'd agree with me, Lucas. You just there were times you were like a dog being chained up. I could tell the look in your face when coaches would bring you up and everybody up. You'd sit there and go, okay, come on. Okay, we've heard this before. Let's just go play. Let's just go play. And the contest, the other thing you did a lot, though, you always had competitions with guys inside the Turtle, out in the field, shagging. He always made up competitions. And I think I think if kids realize that, I have to compete at everything I do. If we're playing right now, and we could sit here and do the stopwatch game, and sit there and who gets the lowest number, and on and on and on. But what I think what you are, Lucas, is you're a strong, you compete, man. You like to compete, don't you?
I love it. It makes it fun.
Yeah, it makes it fun. It makes it fun. How's Texas? Where are they preseason ranked this year?
I think we're 1 or 2.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Shit.
It's all right.
Why? Let me ask you.
Oh, sorry, what'd you say?
No, like, I can hear people thinking to listen to this going, okay, you're talking to Lucas Gordon. He's got a fastball this, and their team's 1 and 2 in the country. The coaches let us do what we want to do. That's not how it is over there. I mean, you're 1 or 2. Why do you think Texas is 1 or 2 in the country this year, man?
I know that we work harder than anyone in the country by far. There's no way any program works harder than us.
Wow.
And I can say that because I've been on very good teams, and we work 100 times harder than any team I've ever been on. And that's why we're so close and we bond so much, is because we've all gone through some brutal stuff at practice and just competing and during the games last season, and it's no joke, but that's why we're so good.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. Now, when are you coming home for Christmas, man?
I think 10 days, 11 days. I'm done with finals.
Okay. Hey, I need you to come out, work with my guys a little bit, just be around, talk to those guys, man. Your presence
too. So
what's that?
I start my throwing program tomorrow. So
okay. You start your throwing program tomorrow, and I've heard a lot of stuff. Vertical drop and horizontal drop?
No, vertical break and horizontal break.
Vertical break and horizontal break. Okay.
I like to take it's dumb, but
no, it's what we need to know today, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay, good deal. Because I ordered those at donut shops. They sell like donuts or something. I have no idea, but if it works for you, hey, are we going to be? Is your goal to be in the major leagues? Obviously, right?
100%.
Yeah. You see, Hunter Green got on the 40-man roster this year.
Yes.
Yeah, and you guys are teammates, right? Your freshman year.
Yes, he was 2017. I was a freshman. He was a senior.
And you were pitcher of the year, and he was not. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. What was your record?
12-1.
Yeah. What was he?
I think 5-1.
That's it. Yeah. You dominated. You were our number one. Just want to get that out there. If you're listening, Hunter. His horizontal
Hunter.
break was better. Your horizontal break is much better than Hunter Green's horizontal break. That's for
Way
sure.
better. And I throw harder.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, man, good luck on your finals. You know, we didn't talk about the educational part of this thing, but I assume you got to be eligible to play for the University of Texas, correct?
Of course. And it's not an easy school. So.
It's not an easy school, man. Yeah. When are you done now? Do you have a final tonight or tomorrow?
I have a final tomorrow and Friday.
What's your final in tomorrow, Lucas? Because I'm here to help.
Architecture.
What is it?
Architecture.
Yeah. And then what's
Yeah.
the one on Friday? What's that final?
Math.
What, just math? What kind of math?
It's some Texas
Spin
math
rate.
class. I don't know. It's a requirement.
You know about ERAs, spin rate, vertical drops. That's all you need to know, brother. That's all
That's
you need to
all I
know.
think about when I do math. I don't need to know this. All I need to know is my vertical break and spin rate.
Hey, man, I love you, kiddo. Tell your father I
too.
said hi, man. Okay.
I will.
And I will see you when you get back I'll see you when you come on back for Christmas. Okay, man.
Of course. And I'll shoot you a text pretty soon.
I appreciate it, Lucas. I'll talk to you later, my friend. I'll talk to you later. I love you, man. See you.
Of course. Love you too. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Lucas, great job.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you.
I'll
Yep.
text.
Of
I will
course.
text you and call you. It'll be out on a. It'll be next. It'll be.